Good morning, grade 8 learners! Handa naman ba kayong matuto ng bagong kaalaman? Magaling! I am your science teacher for today, Teacher Jairus. Halina tuklasin ang mundo ng agham at siyensya. Nga pala, ano ang breakfast nyo kaninang umaga? Andito ba ang mga paborito niyong pangagahan? Alam kong hindi mawawala ang tinapay, itlog, hotdog, at ang napakasarap na daing. Nagutom tuloy ako. Napag-usapan na lang din natin ang pagkain. Somehow, someway, related yan sa ating lesson ngayong araw. Today, we will be discussing about your digestive system. You heard it right. Our digestive system. Napapatanong ba kayo? What is the reason bakit tayo kumakain? Ano ang nangyayari sa mga pagkain na ating kinakain? And what processes this food undergo? Ito ang mga katanungan na ating bibigyan ng kasagutan. For our objectives, first, we will label the main parts of the digestive system. Second, we will discuss and explain the journey of food during digestion, together with the enzymes and chemicals involved. At ang panghuli, we will create a healthy meal plan to maintain a healthy digestive system. Kanina, I asked you bakit tayo kumakain. Simply because we need to obtain energy. At saan makukuha ang energy na ito? Correct. From the foods that we eat. We need to realize before we can generate energy from the foods that we eat, it will run through several processes, and the digestive system will do the work. Our digestive system is involved in breaking down the food that we eat so it can be absorbed by our body in the form of nutrients, and that process is called digestion. Before we proceed in discovering the different processes involved in breaking down the food that we eat, alamin muna natin ang mga parts that are included in the digestive system. Our first activity, entitled Rumble Scramble, will allow us to determine those parts. Mechanics. Essential parts of the digestive system will be presented in scrambled form. Your task is to drag the letters to its appropriate position to form the exact word. Score will be validated right after you submit your answer. Are you ready? Very good. job! In this game, you are able to identify different essential parts which aids the processing of the food that we eat. Can you name again the parts involved in digestion? Correct! We have the mouth. Found inside the mouth is our teeth, tongue, and our salivary glands. Second, we have the esophagus, stomach, intestines, rectum, and anus. In addition to these essential parts are liver, pancreas, and gallbladder. Now for our next activity, we will trace the food pathway and will determine how the parts that we have unlocked earlier are interconnected. This next activity is entitled I Am Labeled. Your task is to label the digestive system by dragging the dotted lines to its appropriate parts. You can change answers by doing the same process. Scores will be validated right after submitting your answers. Are you ready? Let's start! How was the game? Did you label the pathway of your foods correctly? I want to emphasize that the interconnected track starting from your mouth down to your anus is called the gastrointestinal tract, or simply the GI tract. There are essential digestive parts as well that are not directly connected to this tract. Say for instance, like liver, pancreas, and gallbladder, which have a very important role in digestion. These parts are called accessory organs. This time, we will now dig deeper on how these parts work effectively, efficiently, and collaboratively in doing digestion. Are you excited? Let's begin. I want you to realize that there are 4 major stages that constitutes the whole digestion process. These are ingestion, absorption, assimilation, and excretion. During ingestion stage, food is administered to the mouth. Sa kaloob-looban ng mouth, mahahanap natin ang teeth, tongue, and salivary glands. Teeth and tongue work together to do the mechanical process of grinding and chewing of food to make it into smaller pieces. On the other hand, salivary glands starts the chemical process by adding saliva to the foods. Ang saliva ay nagproproduce ng isang enzyme na kung tawagin ay amylase. When you say enzyme, it is responsible para pabilisin ang isang chemical reaction. Amylase is an example of that enzyme, responsible for digesting carbohydrates into glucose. Ang nadurog ng mga pagkain na may saliva ay tinatawag na bolus. Did you know? The average person produces 2 pins of saliva every day. That is 32 ounces or 2 cans of soda. Hiccups or sinok or sidok can be caused by a change in temperature that happens suddenly. From mouth, ang bolus ay dadaan sa esophagus. It is a tube-like structure na kumokonekta sa mouth at stomach. Pwede niyo bang hawakan ang inyong lalamunan? Ngayon, subukan ninyong lumunok. Meron ba kayong naramdaman na paggalaw? Yes! Tila ba paakyat at pababa na paggalaw ang nangyayari habang kayo ay lumulunok? Yan ay isang paraan ng esophagus para ihatid ang nadurog na pagkain mula sa mouth papuntang stomach. It is a movement process called peristalsis, where the muscles in your esophagus creates a wave-like movement that pushes the food to the stomach. Nakuha ba? After the food enters your stomach, the muscles within it will contract and mix the food liquid with gastric juices. Gastric juices like hydrochloric acid and pepsin, which is an enzyme, will break down the foods evenly. Did you know that your stomach produces a strong acid called hydrochloric acid, or simply HCl? It's highly acidic and helps break down food for easier digestion. This helps your body absorb nutrients more easily as food enters and moves through your digestive tract. In order to break down everything from tough meat, fibrous plants, stomach acid has to be highly acidic. Your body is designed to handle normal levels of stomach acid, so it doesn't cause you any illnesses or health complications. Did you know? It takes about 7 seconds for food to travel from your mouth to your stomach through the esophagus. Those gastric juices I mentioned earlier will digest protein foods like meat, eggs, and milk. Kung kanina bolus ang tawag natin sa mashed up food, this time it was broken down evenly in the stomach by those gastric juices and is now called chyme. After the stomach, this chyme will then enter the small intestine. Dito na nangyayari ang ikalawang stage ng digestion, that is, the absorption stage. Take note, most digestion happens in the small intestine. Pasalamat tayo kina mouth and stomach who is responsible for breaking down the food. Dito na papasok ngayon si small intestine. Its primary job is to absorb most of the nutrients from the food we take in our body. Since the food was broken evenly, mas magiging efficient ang trabaho ni small intestine during the absorption process. The first part of the intestine is the duodenum, where the digestion of all kinds of food is completed with the help of the enzymes coming from the pancreas and liver. Take note that liver and pancreas are accessory organs. When we say accessory organs, they are parts that are not mainly included on the digestive tract, but has a significant role on the digestion process. The pancreas will secrete pancreatic enzymes. Liver as well secretes an enzyme called bile, which is responsible for breaking up large molecules of fatty foods. Now if ever bile is not used, they are brought back to the gallbladder to be stored and are then released when the body needs it. After the absorption of nutrients from the food that we eat, these nutrients will now then be distributed throughout the body through the bloodstreams. which completes a third stage called assimilation. In the excretion stage, waste products of the digestive process are moved into the large intestine. Large intestine, o tinatawag rin nating colon, connects the small intestine to the rectum. Kung ang small intestine ay nag-absorb ng nutrients, large intestine is a highly specialized organ responsible for processing wastes. The leftover from the digestive process ay tinatawag na stool, and it is passed through the colon by means of peristalsis, kagaya sa wave-like movement nangyayari sa ating esophagus. May nangyayari pa ring reabsorption of water sa large intestine para hindi masayang ang proseso. Kaya, kung mapapansin ninyo, solid form ang ating mga stool or yung feces. That's how efficient and resourceful our digestive system is. Did you know? The small intestine is about 6 meters or 20 feet long, while the large intestine is only about 1.5 meters or 5 feet long. Normally, it takes about 36 hours for stool to get through the colon. Then, the elimination process takes place when the descending colon becomes full of stool or feces and are then temporarily stored in a part called rectum. After which, stool exits through the anus, which is the last part of the digestive system. And this is where the excretion stage happens. Did you know? Your gastrointestinal tract plays host to over 500 species of bacteria. While many of them can be helpful, they can be very dangerous if they find their way to other parts of the body. Namangha ba kayo sa inyong mga nalaman regarding your digestive system and how it works efficiently together with its parts?
Wow!
Yes, kahit ako rin. Now, it is important also that we need to protect our digestive system. In what way? That is, by eating healthy foods. That is why we will proceed to our last activity entitled My Healthy Meal Plan. Your task is to create a healthy meal plan using the format shown in your screen. You may include healthy meals like vegetable and fruits in your daily servings, which will promote good digestion process. Also, you may include the amount and number of serving per meal. Example, 1 glass of water, you have 1 cup of rice, or 1 piece of bread. Now your outputs will be scored using a rubric shown. Bago at dagdag na kaalaman na naman ang ating natutunan dahil sa Agam at Siyensya for Grade 8, brought to you by the Department of Education. Dahil una sa lahat, bata. Until next time, ito si Teacher Jairus nagpapaalalang tumulong na maiwasan ang pagkalat ng mga sakit sa paghinga tulad ng COVID-19 sa pamamagitan ng di pagwawalang bahala sa ating mga health protocols. At higit sa lahat, mas pag-igtingin ang pag-iingat.